Well, good afternoon, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I am Mike Williams, and I have the great privilege of serving as the chair of the board of Children's National Medical Center. Let me begin by welcoming today our special guests, Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton, Mayor Muriel Bowser, and council members Brandon Todd, Mary Che, Kenyon McDuffie, and Robert White. And I welcome all of you, our distinguished guests and members of the media. I want to thank you for joining us today as we launch a new chapter in innovation in Washington, D.C. To share some exciting news with you, it's my great pleasure to welcome Dr. Kurt Newman, the President and Chief Executive Officer of Children's National Health System, to the podium. Dr. Newman?
Well, thank you, Mike, and thank you all for being here. A few years ago, and it seems like more than a few years, it seems like decades now, but a few years ago we began to pursue a really bold vision. We set out to create a research and innovation ecosystem with a focus on advancing pediatric medicine. I'll repeat that, pediatric medicine. And thanks to a transfer of property and facilities from the United States Army on the former Walter Reed Army Medical Center campus, we found the perfect location to do this. In December of last year, we broke ground on the Children's National Research and Innovation Campus, which is scheduled to open in 2020. And for those of you that are keeping track, that also just happens to be the 150th birthday of Children's National. Our vision was to bring forward and bring together our strengths with those of public and private partners, so we can not only drive new discoveries, but ensure that they are rapidly translated into new treatments and technologies. So today, we're announcing a major leap forward in this vision. Waiting for a cue. So we're proud to share. Is it happening? I'll say it again. I'm waiting for a cue. We're proud to share. This is a finely tuned operation. We're proud to share that Johnson & Johnson Innovation and Children's National are collaborating to launch a new JLABS at Washington, D.C. The JLABS space will be located in the very heart of the Children's National Research and Innovation Campus, in a facility that will also house Children's National researchers and other collaborators. Johnson & Johnson Innovation will also be sharing some news today, some really exciting news about a collaboration with Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority, also known as BARDA. BARDA will create a special innovation zone within JLABS at Washington, D.C., and you'll hear more about that shortly. The JLABS Incubator model will attract promising innovation startups to the campus. The synergies that will be created for pediatric-focused research and innovation will advance children's medicine in ways that just wouldn't be possible without this unique collaboration. So in addition to the building that you saw on the screen just now, the campus will include a conference center. It'll be a theater, which will be used for innovation summits, educational events and activities, and for community activities. It also includes a lovely historic building where we will offer pediatric primary care and outpatient specialty care services to families in the surrounding neighborhoods. Children's National is proud to be a leader of innovations focused on the unique needs of children. We've spun out ourselves more than 20 companies that were focused on pediatric advances. But we can do so much more with the collaboration of other inventors and innovators. So we're so excited about what this collaboration means to us and what it means for our growing bioscience innovation in the region. At a conference of the BioHealth Capital Region, and our leader, Rich Bendis, is here, it was exciting to hear just how well the region was doing as a bio-innovation leader. The region ranks third nationally in the number of patents and fourth in extramural funding from the NIH. That success is in no small measure due to the leadership of our region's elected officials. And I want to give a special shout out to the tremendous support from our DC leadership for this effort. Congresswoman Norton, Mayor Bowser, Deputy Mayor Kenner, Deputy Mayor Turnage, and our wonderful City Council. Our goal at Children's National is to help kids grow up stronger. The launch of JLABS at Washington, D.C. will do the same for the future of innovation. Thank you for joining us for this important announcement. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Kurt. What an exciting partnership and opportunity for all of us. While today we're celebrating this first-of-its-kind collaboration, this is not the first time that Children's National has teamed up with Johnson & Johnson to do something innovative around children's health. In 1988, we launched Safe Kids Worldwide with Children's National as the founding member and Johnson & Johnson as the founding sponsor. Safe Kids Worldwide develops and deploys programs that keeps kids safe across the country from injury. Since its founding, Safe Kids has helped reduce the U.S. childhood death rate from unintentional injuries by 57%. Now we're looking to make even more life-saving advances together with Johnson & Johnson. To tell you more about this exciting collaboration, it is my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Paul Stoffels, Chief Scientific Officer for Johnson & Johnson. Dr. Stoffels?
Thank you. Thank you, Kurt and Michael, and good afternoon, everyone. Dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here this afternoon for this very important announcement of a great collaboration. And I'm so excited to be here today to announce the establishment of a new JLABS Incubator in Washington, D.C., our first JLABS in partnership with a global leader in pediatric research and medicine. Today, Johnson & Johnson has 12 incubators around the world. This is the 12th incubator. It's our facilities where we accelerate the startup of new companies driven by academics and entrepreneurs. And we enable them to go faster and do better work with less capital. It's no strings attached, so companies can work with all types of pharmaceutical companies, technology companies, and we work as facilitators. And the objective is to accelerate and reduce the capital. Accelerate time, reduce the capital so that people can do more with their money in order to get to their first results. Today, in the 12 incubators we have in the world, there are 500 companies incubated. So 500 in 12 incubators. And those companies on their own, they raised $12 billion. So it's a big facilitating engine to start new companies around the world, and with one focus: how can we improve healthcare fast, bringing the best science at work for hopefully the best solution for patients. And we are very pleased to be collaborating with the Children's National Health System to fuel the innovation in the region and drive discoveries that will benefit the health of children and people of all ages here in the nation's capital and around the globe. As the most broadly based healthcare company in the world, Johnson & Johnson works to unleash the power of science and technology to enhance and advance the health of everyone, everywhere. We do this in collaboration with many partners because we know a great idea can come from anywhere. And because the healthcare challenges we are trying to solve today are extremely complex. And for that, we require the best ideas, the most talented and passionate people, unique approaches, and diverse perspectives. The DC metro region is home to some of the most successful public and private research teams, outstanding academic institutions, major government agencies, as well as state-of-the-art hospitals and medical centers, and also industry. By adding a JLABS Incubator into this ecosystem, we hope to provide life science entrepreneurs with additional infrastructure and support to enable even more great ideas to be translated into solutions that save and improve lives. We are very excited to be part of this hotbed of innovation and to replicate the success of the JLABS model as an incubator for most impactful new ideas for healthcare. We are also honored for the JLABS Washington, D.C. to be located at the historic Walter Reed Army Medical Campus, a landmark of so much significance to the medical history of the United States. And we are excited to be co-located with so many other groups that are doing important work to drive new solutions, including Children's National Research Institute centers, academic partners, and federal agencies, including NIH and FDA. Being co-located in this one-of-a-kind facility will fuel the exchange of ideas and speed new solutions. For example, we are already set to collaborate with BARDA, the Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority, on innovation zone within JLABS focused on public health and infectious disease research. You'll hear more from Rick Bright on our plans to create an environment to foster innovation that aims to improve the nation's response capacity and capabilities to address 21st century health security threats. We look forward to welcoming talented and passionate new residents to JLABS at Washington, D.C. in 2020, and to advancing our collaborations with many of you to reach our common vision of fueling innovation to advance the trajectory of health for humanity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Stoffels, and we are quite excited about this next phase of our partnership with Johnson & Johnson. Now, let me, excuse me. What I'd like to do now, we'll talk in a few minutes about the broad impact of this on the city, but right now I'd like to have one of our great partners on this speak with you about what this does for Ward 4. With our campus location, we are thrilled to be joining the Ward 4 community, giving Children's National a geographic location for programs and services in every ward in Washington, D.C. Ward 4 Council Member Brandon Todd has been a great support in helping us to get to know the Ward 4 neighborhoods. We're looking forward to pursuing many opportunities with him for engaging with the community. So please join me now in welcoming our council member from Ward 4, Brandon Todd. Thank
you. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am just thrilled to be here for this significant announcement for the District of Columbia and for Ward 4. I want to start by thanking our Mayor Muriel Bowser, our deputy mayors who are present, and all of our government partners. I would like to thank my colleagues on the council for supporting this, and I know that we're joined by my Ward 3 colleague, Councilmember Mary Che. And thank you to the Children's National family, Dr. Kurt Newman, Dr. Michael Williams, and the entire team at Children's National. But our good friends and partners at Johnson & Johnson, and thank you, Dr. Stoffels, and thank you to Melissa Richter. Let's give everybody a big round of applause. Today, the District of Columbia took a giant step forward by welcoming Johnson & Johnson to the city of Washington, D.C., and to Ward 4. I, as the Ward 4 council member, could not be more thrilled that our city is joining the likes of Shanghai, Toronto, New York, Belgium, Philadelphia, and others as the newest city to have this premier science incubator. The combination of JLABS and Children's Hospital will foster new discoveries in medicine and create good-paying jobs for D.C. residents. It will allow our researchers and scientists to be on the cutting edge of making new discoveries in life-saving drugs, new medical devices, and more effective health technologies. It is so important that we provide world-class housing, recreational, and healthcare options for our youngest patients in Ward 4 in the district and across the region. And this new incubator is just the latest of many exciting things happening at the Walter Reed campus. As many of you know, I often say that Walter Reed is the greatest economic development opportunity that the city will see in the next generation. This redevelopment, this investment will bring 5,000 jobs, 2,100 units of housing, and over 400 of those will be affordable. But this new incubator, in partnership with Johnson & Johnson, will give Walter Reed a brand new feel. And let's hear it for giving Walter Reed a brand new feel. It will add vibrancy and vision to the northwest corner in Georgia Avenue and the upper northwest Washington. It will make new discoveries in medicine that will be all the more possible. So I couldn't be more proud about all the great things that are happening at Walter Reed, but I could not be more proud of the focus and commitment of Children's National and JLABS for the investment in our ward and in our city. So we thank you for that, and congratulations to everybody.
Thank you, Councilman Todd, and for your remarks and for your support in this important endeavor. Now, it takes many highly trained individuals to drive new breakthroughs and bring new advances in medicine. This collaboration will involve many team members at Johnson & Johnson Innovation. So today we wanted to make sure we included some of them in this announcement. I'll direct your attention to the screens as I introduce Dr. William Hite, Global Head of Johnson & Johnson External Innovation. So now, live from New York, it's Dr. Hite.
It is true, and I hope you can you hear me and see me in D.C.? Yes. Good. Well, distinguished dignitaries, partners, and all guests gathered today to celebrate the announcement of a new JLABS in the nation's capital. My name is Bill Hite, and I bring you greetings from the over 200 external innovation colleagues gathered today for a treat in Palisades, New York. It's our privilege to join this important event. I've often said that innovation is the result of a person or a group of people determined to solve an important, difficult problem that has never been solved before. Compared it to an Olympic sport, where the degree of difficulty is a 10 and the competition is global. At J&J, we are fully committed to delivering transformative consumer, device, and pharmaceutical products that improve lives from childhood through adulthood. We plan to change the trajectory of health and move us closer toward a world without disease through preventing, intercepting, and curing disease through early diagnosis and treatment. With partners around the world, we are shifting the paradigm from waiting until someone gets sick to do something about it to true healthcare, where the primary focus is keeping people healthy. At J&J, collaboration is at the heart of all of our efforts. We are fully aware, as Paul said, that a great idea can come from anywhere. Therefore, we are proud to collaborate with Children's National and BARDA with the goal of speeding healthcare innovation through forging partnerships in the greater Washington, D.C. metro area. This collaboration between Children's, BARDA, and J&J is a prime example of our unique partnership model that draws on the diverse strengths of different organizations who share a mission. And that mission is to identify, foster, and apply the best science and technology to solve some of the greatest healthcare problems of the 21st century. Together, we are determined to find those transformational innovation, agnostic to source, and to bring them to people around the world who are waiting for solutions. We are proud to be with you, and thank you very much for this incredibly important event.
It is now my great pleasure to invite Rick Bart, the Director of Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority, or BARDA, to our stage. Rick, please join us. Thank you.
Thank you all very much, and good afternoon. I cannot express the true level of excitement that I feel by being here today with such distinguished guests, such leaders in healthcare, in children's healthcare, and innovation, to bring together a representative of our federal government into this area of innovation. I'm the director of BARDA, which is part of the Office of the Assistant Secretary for Preparedness and Response in the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. At BARDA, our mission, very simply, is to save lives. We focus on protecting our nation from health impacts of modern 21st century security threats. These threats are very real and they're very serious. Our job is to be ready for our nation's darkest hour. And while saying that is easy, doing it is not. Modern health security threats are complex. They continue to evolve, and whether they are natural or man-made, they are ever present. And we face a wide range of these threats, from either chemical exposure, chemical attacks we hear about around the world, to biological threats, to drug-resistant bacteria, pandemic influenza, and even newly emerging viruses that we've never heard of before that pose a significant threat to the world. As these threats evolve, so must the science and technology that we use to fight them. Protecting people and saving lives demands new solutions. 21st century threats demands 21st century solutions. It demands breakthrough scientific technologies. It demands a pipeline of promising treatments, diagnostics, and vaccines. And it requires a culture of innovation to capture ideas, the best ideas from the brightest minds across America. And it requires a dedicated space for that culture, such as the announcement today for the JLABS at Washington, D.C. That space is required to foster and guide ideas from an initial spark into a solution that will make our country stronger and better prepared for the future. BARDA and our partners from industry have shown repeatedly that public-private partnerships work. And they are the best way to inspire new solutions, to transform technology, and to accelerate the development of new products for health security. That's why we're really thrilled today to expand our strategic partnership with Johnson & Johnson and JLABS, to welcome this new awesome facility in collaboration with Children's National Health System into Washington, D.C., JLABS Washington, D.C. The exciting center of innovation that we will build here in the heart of our nation's capital builds on a successful collaboration between BARDA and the Johnson & Johnson family of companies. Together, we are already working on new solutions to treat influenza and radiation exposure. And last year, after my first walk through a JLABS in California, I was consumed by the culture of innovation. I did not leave that meeting without a plan for collaboration to launch a Quickfire Challenge. And we envisioned, and we launched last year the Quickfire Challenge to completely rethink respiratory protection so everyone can be protected and secure in the event of a pandemic or other respiratory viruses. Working together, we can ignite that spark of innovation and bring those ideas into products that save lives. We are honored to collaborate on an effort to make the nation's capital the center for innovation that will save lives across the country in national emergencies and every single day. Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to someone who truly impacted my life when I met her last year and transformed what we're even doing in government to focus and foster innovation. please welcome our partner, Melinda Richter, the global head of JLABS.
Well, I hope somebody got that on video so I can send that to my parents. Thank you, Rick, and thank you, Michael, and Kurt, and Paul. What an awe-inspiring day. What a remarkable day for patients, for babies and children, for our nation, and for our ecosystem. This is what it's about, coming together for a big, huge purpose that will give us all meaning and impact lives all over the world. I know we have a number of elected officials with us today, and thank you for joining us. Mayor Bowser, I want to say how much we've appreciated your inspiration to make these partnerships happen. You have done this incredible work fostering a community and attracting and retaining the top talent here in the DC metro area to provide a spark that catalyzes these bright minds from across the region to make a positive impact on people's lives through their research and ingenuity. It is truly inspiring. And that is why they call this the capital of inclusive innovation. On behalf of Johnson & Johnson Innovation JLABS, I am so proud to partner with these important organizations. We are here to bring JLABS to Washington, D.C., the biohealth capital of the world. We are so impressed by this remarkable community of life science innovators, technology innovators, and healthcare innovators. Like many great inventions, the Johnson & Johnson Innovation JLABS model started with a spark and an idea and a whole lot of hope. A lot of hope to empower and enable the brightest minds to tackle some of the world's most challenging problems in health. And we're pleased to share that we're making progress, and it's because of the company that we keep. So I'd like to recognize all of these partners this afternoon for the work that they've done to bring us here to this point. So first of all, Dr. Kurt Newman. What a believer. You've always been a champion for the new Children's National Research Innovation Campus at Walter Reed. You've been a champion of bringing all these partners together in a unique way so we can accelerate innovations to the people who need them. And you've been a champion for us to bring us to the table. You saw the need to shine a brighter light and bring a bigger microphone to the need to innovate for all lives, especially those of babies and children. They deserve a chance to grow up stronger, to live healthy, full lives to the fullest. And also now, by joining forces, we can provide a platform for innovators to be heroes in their own hometown, where they can enhance and save lives and stay in their community, where they can focus on work that's meaningful for those that are in need of champions. To mark this new collaboration to host JLABS on the Children's National Campus, I would like to announce that we are also launching a Quickfire Challenge. This will be called the JLABS at Washington, D.C. Children's Quickfire Challenge. Starting today, entrepreneurs with the best ideas, technologies, and solutions for pediatric oncology, pediatric surgical care, and influenza can apply to receive up to $150,000 in total grant funding, have residency at our new JLABS at Washington, D.C., and have the access of resources and mentoring from across the family of companies at Johnson & Johnson. With this Quickfire Challenge, our aim is to accelerate pediatric-centered healthcare innovation and we know how tough that is. So this is our way of also shining a brighter light and bringing a bigger microphone to this challenge. These awards will be announced at our opening in 2020. So again, Mayor Bowser, thank you so much for your vision and your efforts to make lives healthier and better here in the DC metro area. We hope to become a strong partner of yours in making that happen and to finding these game-changing solutions that can make a difference for people all over the world and to accelerate them right here. And dare I say, hey, Amazon, move over. The largest global healthcare company in the world is coming to town, and we want to collaborate. Dr. Rick Bright, we are so proud of your leadership and in awe of your passion at BARDA. Your service for us, on behalf of all of us, to improve our health security and our response for our nation is truly remarkable. We are humbled by your mission of keeping our nation and indeed keeping us all safe from life-threatening diseases and other serious public health threats and emerging infectious diseases. Together, we're going to build a specialized innovation zone within our JLABS at Washington, D.C. that will focus on catalyzing and accelerating medical countermeasures there for our nation and for the support of citizens all around the world. We will not only create a platform to power up these innovators to address these health security threats, but also extend that opportunity across our global network through our educational programming. Well, I also have to call out our Chief Science Officer and Vice Chairman of Johnson & Johnson, Dr. Paul Stoffels. Dr. Stoffels has always believed in us. Every time we come up with some crazy idea to innovate, to make lives better, you can always know that you have a champion right behind you. He inspires us to make a difference. And as a true ever advocate for patients, I know Paul believes we should use the resources of a big company for good. And this initiative is a reflection of that. We could never have done any of these JLABS or Johnson & Johnson Innovation without you. So thank you for all of that. So JLABS of Washington, D.C. will mark our 13th JLABS. We snuck one in there, Paul, when you weren't looking. And now we will have the honor of helping entrepreneurs move their science forward in one of the top healthcare innovation hotspots in the U.S. for the rest of the world, here in Washington, D.C. And so now, finally, a big thank you to all of you. For those of you that are here with us today in person, and for all of you that are out there online, wherever you are, whether you're in public service or you're in the private sector, each of you has, or are today, or will in the future, play a significant role in advancing this mission here in Washington, D.C. Every little bit makes a difference when you're going after something that's so big and so hard and so meaningful. And that's why it's particularly powerful for us all to come together like this here today. Your talent, your passion, your grit, your courage will make a difference in the health and life of so many people around the world. We are so privileged to work with each and every one of you to make that difference. Thank you to everyone for joining us here today. And I know we're going to create a powerful community together that's really going to change lives. And I look forward to seeing you again before then, but especially at our grand opening in 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, Melinda. I think it's clear why we were so excited to have you as our champion for JLABS DC. So Let me turn next to one of our most important champions. Our city leaders have been among the biggest champions for growing the region's innovation sector. So it should come as no surprise that Mayor Bowser and her team have been engaged with us since the very beginning of this endeavor as strong advocates for this collaboration. Mayor Bowser, Deputy Mayor Kenner, and her economic team joined us as we visited Toronto JLABS, where we all saw firsthand the incredible innovation being created in that space. We are so honored to be a part of her big vision for the historic Walter Reed campus, and I ask you to please join me in welcoming to the podium Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I am very delighted to be here to join in a round of congratulations, but also a big welcome to JLABS and Johnson & Johnson to Washington, D.C. Let's give them a big round of applause. I also want to congratulate them on a great choice in partnering with the Children's Hospital of Washington, D.C. We are very proud of Children's and the service that they have provided to us in this region and indeed to children around the world in their sites in other countries, but also in attracting parents to come to Children's and trust Children's with their most valuable little ones. And I don't know if you're like me, but the sight of a sick child, I know, does to me what it has inspired Dr. Newman and his entire team to commit their lives to making sure they have the best science and innovation to let these little ones live a happy, fulfilled life. So thank you, Dr. Newman and Children's Hospital. This is indeed exciting, and I liked Melinda's acknowledgement that Johnson & Johnson coming into D.C. Is good for children and is also good for how we attract people and jobs and focus how we train our young people for the jobs of our future. And Melinda and Dr. Stoffels, we welcome you and we thank you for your investment in Washington, D.C. And to Councilmember Che and to Councilmember Todd, the host council member for JLABS, I want to congratulate you, Councilmember Todd, and thank the council for your vision and the investment that you made in last year's budget to ensure that we could be here today. So thank you very much. And I'll just say a few things because it is true that Dr. Newman shared his vision with our team, and he was very smart to go to one of the best sites in Washington, D.C. at Walter Reed and be able to build on the medical history of Walter Reed and make sure that Children's has a place there. And in our first ever joint economic development mission between the District of Columbia in Maryland and Virginia, where the governors and I traveled to Toronto, we made a particular choice to spend a day at JLABS because Dr. Newman insisted. And it was a good choice indeed. We know that cities like ours can learn from great places like Toronto, but also that we were proud to be able to showcase the talent in our city, our great real estate, and a great way of life right here, and for Walter Reed to continue its medical mission, which was also a nice benefit. So we are just delighted that we are the 13th for JLABS, but Dr. Newman also promised in that pitch to JLABS that they would be smart to be here because of the proximity to the federal government and all of the things that would mean for this collaboration. So, Kurt Newman, bravo. It's clear that Washington, D.C. has the talent and ideas and passions to support a robust healthcare industry, biotech sector, and tech scene in general. This combination of a world-class children's hospital and biotech incubator will drive discoveries that save lives, create jobs, and further strengthen D.C.'s status as the capital for inclusive innovation. Our residents will have access to first-class pediatric care, and children all over the world will benefit from the research that goes on at this incubator. JLABS will join a strong community where we are already in the process of building at Walter Reed. Our community's vision for Walter Reed reimagined the campus as a place where people will live and work, where we will open up the campus to the larger community, and a place that will increase amenities offered throughout Washington, D.C. And now we can see that this is exactly what we're doing. Johnson & Johnson and Children's Hospital will join a fantastic community that includes already 2 schools, new D.C. Fire and EMS Engine 22 on Georgia Avenue, and affordable housing for seniors and veterans, which is also underway. Just over a week ago, we broke ground on new housing and retail, and now we're proud to have Children's and Johnson & Johnson joining the campus as a partner in reimagining it. We look forward to working together on so many things, and I can't wait for 2020. Thank you.
Wow, I don't know what to say. Mayor Bowser, you're just terrific. Without you and your team, we wouldn't be here today in so many ways. When I think about just that Walter Reed campus itself, about children's being able to work with the Army to build a laboratory and campus effort there around children's health, and then that amazing investment you made in time and effort to bring your team to Toronto to look and spend time in the JLABS, because as Rick said, once you're in there and you meet people like Melinda, you're hooked. I mean, you got to have it, and this is big. And I know we've been talking about 13 JLABS, but this is the first that focuses on children. The first. And I also want to emphasize it's really the first and a one-of-a-kind of a campus that's devoted to pediatric research and innovation. There are a lot of those that are focused on adult, but we have a first here in Washington, D.C., and it's going to be a place that people come. And I think Rick and Barta are just the first of many government. I see representatives from the FDA, the NIH here. I know we've got some big plans there. You can't put that in the press, but it's just the kind of thing. We're here in Washington, and we have all of these things and potential partners. But we especially want to thank Johnson & Johnson for being our truly first partner. They are, just as it was said, the largest global healthcare company in the world. That's the world. That's like the planet. I mean, it's the whole thing. There's no asterisks, no footnotes on that. It's the whole thing. And we're partnered with them and with the District of Columbia to just build something that's going to be so special. And as Mayor Bowser said, really make a difference for children and families, and so that they can have the best lives that they deserve. They can reach their full potential. And I am just so excited to get going. 2020 can't get here fast enough. We're out there building right now, and in 2020, we're going to have the best birthday party for Children's National, 150, and I expect all of you to be there, and with a lot of new partners and things going on. So thank you all for joining us today. We have a reception. I want to invite our guests to enjoy that, but if the speakers, including the mayor and council member Todd, could just join us right here for a few photos and maybe some press interviews, I would appreciate that. So thank you all.